Yes, you are not seeing things. The whole gang is back. The boys are back in town, baby. For episode 125. Ricky?
I don't know.
He doesn't know 125 in Spanish.
Google. 125.
There you go.
Lovely.
So, yes.
Cinco.
Uno, dos, cinco. There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Menage a trois.
But yes, the gang's all back for episode 125, and yes, myself, James, Scott, Ricky, and Walter is finally back.
Yeah. Bartel.
New world order. What a show he has chosen to show up for.
Yes, because ladies and gentlemen, tonight for episode 125, we've been hyping this one up for a little while now. We are talking for the 25th anniversary WCW Starrcade 1997, also known as the most cursed pay-per-view in company history.
Oh.
And we're going to get into why here in a little bit. But before we get started...
the beginning of the end.
Pretty much the beginning of the end of the company.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
Nice.
But before we get into it, let's talk about where the company was at this point. So this is 2 months removed from Halloween Havoc when we talked about that show back in Halloween weekend. WCW's still white hot at this point, and this was arguably the most white hot they ever were up to this point, because we're gearing up for the biggest pay-per-view of the year, and for the first time since the Crockett era, we get a Starrcade that feels like Starrcade, at least
it's
heading in.
It's got a real super, like big event of the biggest event of the year feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of one match in particular.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and of course, with Hogan's Monster Reign minus 5 days, and of course the build-up for Sting and all the other elements heading in, we get to WCW Starrcade 1997, which takes place from the MCI Center in Washington, D.C., with an attendance of 17,500, sellout with 16,052 paid, live gate of $543,000, and the pay-per-view buys $650,000. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
You don't see any other company aside from WWE putting up those numbers. A year ago, I would have said AEW, but they're not.
Nope. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this the most bought pay-per-view stateside since WrestleMania 6?
It was one of them. Definitely up there.
James would know that one. So
it is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Despite what we're about to go into, the content of the pay-per-view, business-wise, Bischoff and everybody were hugging each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after all this show, highest attended, highest live gate, and highest pay-per-view buys in the company.
It really was the peak.
And also,
the descent didn't take as long to get to as it did the peak.
No.
And also, this was right after the screw job, which could have easily done a lot of bad for the WWF. And with WCW heading into their biggest show ever, this could have been the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the bell rang.
Yes, thank you.
And then,
and Vince was like, "Oh, I don't have anything to worry about with these guys. These are clowns."
Right. So yeah, business-wise, this show, the biggest business they've ever done, at least for attendance and live gate up to this point. Pay-per-view buys never got close to this point.
And never before or since.
No.
Nope. The closest they got pay-per-view buy-wise was Super Brawl 9.
Bash at the Beach 98.
Yeah, that too.
That was Hogan, Rodman versus DDP and Malone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, business-wise, greatest show in company history. Show itself, however, yeah, when we say this is the most cursed pay-per-view in company history, you're gonna learn why in just a little bit. But we kick things off with, so we have 8 matches to talk about. Kicking things off with match number 1 in the first of 3 championship matches of the night. For the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, champion Eddie Guerrero versus challenger Dean Malenko. And I like how in the commentary for this match they bring up how just recently they became a tag team. And now they're rivals again going for the Cruiserweight title. Match itself, I thought, was a great opener between these two.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best Guerrero-Malenko match, but still a great match. Because it's
And-
Guerrero and Malenko, you know what you're going to get.
That's the thing. You get those two in the ring together, you know you're going to get a solid match, no matter what. So, I mean, I definitely wasn't as up to par with a few of their ECW encounters, but it was still a very good match.
Yep.
And this was a match that almost didn't happen because this was at the time when Malenko's wife just gave birth. He was supposed to get time off, but because of so much other shit going on, Bischoff flew him private jet to do the show. Because he wasn't supposed to, and then they started advertising him. And it was like, what the hell? I was supposed to have time off. Well, this, and this, so you gotta do it.
Right. And this match is, like Walt's saying, it's not up to the par like some of their ECW matches, but this is a lot more character development for Eddie, more story-based.
Yeah.
Just the goofiness of Eddie getting on his knees and kissing
his
Dean's
feet.
boot, and then drop kick right to the face.
Handshake.
The little details like that. Yeah, exactly.
This is part of the transitional point for Eddie, where he starts developing charisma and a persona, and his character work is just through the roof.
That's a big part too. He's starting to channel his inner
Latino heat.
Ringo's Locos,
Latino heat, yeah.
which he hasn't been able to bring in yet. So
That's where you're able to, that we did see that Latino heat in AAA though when he was teaming up with Art Barr.
Yeah.
We never got to see that Eddie in ECW, and we never got to see that Eddie part of the time in WCW until then.
Yeah.
and good psychology of this match, working the knee of Dean Malenko, which is the big factor leading to the finish. What a concept!
Yes. Yeah, throughout the match, Eddie working Dean's knee, and then that leads us to the finish as Dean's about to go for the cloverleaf, but knee gives out, and Eddie goes to the top, hits the frog splash on the knee. 1, 2, 3. God damn, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. As Eddie Guerrero defeated Dean Malenko in 17 minutes 57 seconds to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. So yeah, we started off with a big high with an awesome match between two great wrestlers.
It's like meth.
Exactly. And now the show starts taking a dip a bit.
Ew.
So, coming up next for match number 2, we have the only multi-man match of the night.
Well, you also forgot about the whole Kevin Nash situation.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that does come up next with Scott Hall. Let's get into that quickly because it is a major factor of this show.
Because Kevin Nash, it was supposed to be Kevin Nash versus the Giant, but Kevin Nash had to check himself into a hospital in Arizona because of heart problems. Which his dad died at an early age from a heart attack, and Kevin was at that same age so it's like any sort of precaution, whatever, he had to check himself in. And then you had the segment with Hall and the Giant, and you eventually got the Battle of the Giants the following month.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Where Giant nearly got his neck broke.
Right, yeah.
Fucking nearly died on pay-per-view. Holy shit.
Fucking 10, kid. That's all it saved him.
Yeah. But now on to match number 2 and the only multi-man match of the night. A 6-man tag match. We have the Steiner Brothers and Ray Traylor with Ted DiBiase versus the NWO of Vincent, Scott Norton, and Macho Man Randy Savage?
It
With
was
Miss
supposed
Elizabeth?
It was supposed to be Conan. Conan was in Mexico because his girlfriend at the time had given birth prematurely. He had to be stuck in Mexico, so couldn't show up for the show.
Damn.
So he claims.
So he
Damn,
claims.
labor really affected the show. Because that's two matches in a row.
This is the 1997 version. And I got a sick horse at home. It's just a different kind of horse.
Who stood in for Conan? Was it Vincent?
It was Savage.
Okay.
Savage was not scheduled on the card at all.
Savage probably didn't mind the night off too, and he probably demanded some extra money to work that day.
Because I mean, the year that Savage had in '97, like he deserved a night off, but it's well. And they played it off as NWO rules. They could have anybody replace anybody at any time for any match.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was
Savage wasn't done that night.
No, he wasn't. No. Elizabeth was looking hot.
Well, yeah.
That's mid to late 90s Elizabeth, I think, was much hotter than 80s. Mid to late 80s Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She was a lot more fuller figured. And it was very nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this match felt more like a Nitro match than it did on pay-per-view. Yeah.
It's there.
Not bad, but it's just an average Nitro match. That's really all it was.
This is like what you expect on like the pre-show.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And Steiner was just a haircut and a bleach job away from being Big Papa Pump. He's even wearing the Big Papa Pump attire, like the singlets.
This was the beginning of that transformation and the tease that led to the heel turn.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, then we get to
crazy finish to a lot of moving parts in this one.
A lot of moving parts leading to a distraction from DiBiase, and then Norton comes in and grabs Scott Steiner up for an electric chair. Savage with the elbow. 1, 2, 3. The NWO defeat the Steiner brothers and Ray Traylor in 11 minutes, 6 seconds.
Scott Norton is huge in real life. Huge. Big ham hock fists. Really does talk like this.
I'm so glad you're here so you can tell Norton stories. I was hoping you would be here just for that.
Yeah. I got to work a show with Kevin Nash and Scott Norton. And my friend Jay, or me and Scott's mutual friend Jay Misery, we're bringing beers to both of them, and we were like, it was like such an honor too.
That's funny.
Scott's like, I need another beer, and Jay's like, oh boss, you just sit right down. I got you, man. I got you. No, yeah, like, you need a beer, Kev? Yeah, go ahead and get me a beer, Walt. Go ahead and get me a beer.
So now we move on to match number 3, and we take an even bigger dip. Up next, we get Steve McMichael versus Goldberg, which this feud had been going on.
This was the only one of the few matches on the night that nothing had to be changed or replaced or anything. It was just Mongo versus Goldberg. The feud they've been building up for a couple of months after the whole Super Bowl ring, and then Mongo attacked Goldberg, Goldberg attacked Mongo, and now should have had a lead pipe on a pole.
Right, yeah.
Because that was the whole thing, where Mongo hit Goldberg with a lead pipe, Goldberg hit Mongo with a lead pipe.
Yeah. But yeah, this match now, again, it's early Goldberg, still learning. It's Mongo. We know how Mongo was here and there.
With a guy who's going to be able to guide him and feed him properly.
But the big issue, why 6 fucking minutes? This should have been 90 seconds to 3 minutes max. Instead, they go 6. Are you kidding me?
At least they didn't go 10.
Yeah.
Oh, 15, like, 15 God. If it was 10, this would have... Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's like, Mongo's not the guy for Goldberg to be having a 6-minute match with. Like, this should have just been Goldberg pounding the fuck out of Mongo for 90 seconds to 3 minutes. Spear, jackhammer, done.
1, 2, 3, done.
Instead, we get this pile of crap. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. But at least the finish was sweet. Which is the only positive.
Amazing what difference a year will make.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Bischoff.
But But yeah, at least the finish was sweet. That's the only positive I can think of for this match. The finish was cool, where after putting Mongo through a table, brings him back into the ring, Goldberg hits the jackhammer for the 1-2-3, as Goldberg defeats Steve Mongo McMichael in 5 minutes, 59 seconds, dear Lord.
So technically not 6 minutes. It's 5:59.
It's closer to
Actually, it rounds up to 6 minutes.
If you round it up, it would become 6 minutes. Thank you very much.
Wait, it's technically 6 minutes plus with the entrances.
Oh, see, yeah, entrances too. That counts too.
Actually.
Right.
think. But now to the final match of the first half of the show, we get a Raven's Rules match. Without Raven, it is Saturn versus Chris Benoit. We get the opening promo from Raven, basically saying, well, I ain't wrestling this, and then out comes Saturn to a god-awful theme song.
And there's another thing with this. Raven had an inflamed pancreas at the time, which is why he couldn't wrestle. That's why he didn't wrestle a lot during that early time in WCW.
How about Benoit and his poetry, his spoken word?
Oh, yeah.
When I rest with reason. When I move with passion.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
I say that nowadays. See how well that goes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But
oh yeah, he's resting all right. He's resting all right.
Anyways, so this match, Raven's Rules, of course, no rules, but the match itself, it was
fine.
Decent.
It's a fine match.
The problem with this match, it was fucking overbooked to death. With all the interference from the flock.
That's what Raven had. That's what Raven did. He stole it from Paulie. So just like, I'm just going to do that shit here.
Sick boy with the missile drop kick in there.
Yeah, because on paper, a match between Saturn and Benoit, two guys who know each other very well, this should have been an amazing match, or at the very least, a really good one. But instead, it was just decent. And it's like
the matches around that time were like that, though. They fell apart fast. It wasn't until like when he started wrestling Canyon and teaming with Canyon and Saturn is when the really good Raven stuff came.
Yeah. Because, I mean, hell, 9 months later at Fall Brawl, we got a Raven's Rules match between Saturn and Raven. That was amazing.
Hell, just a couple of months.
Jericho at Halloween Havoc that year. And
Spring Stampede against Dallas.
Yeah.
The triple Jeopardy against Dallas and Benoit.
Wow.
Yeah, uncensored, yeah. But yeah, the match I feel suffers way too much from the overbooked nature of it, and it just did not sit well. Like I said, considering the talent.
Yeah, the business was to build up a match between Benoit and Raven. Raven hits the DDT, so he gets one over on Chris. Saturn hooks him in the rings, give up. And then Raven just sits there on top of him. It's building that heat. So it's that old school factor is just trying to, for that time, in the context of 1997, like I said, utilizing the Paul Lee influence from ECW here with all the chicanery and dog and pony show and smoke and mirrors.
And Raven had a flock back then too. I mean, how many Raven matches had Stevie and the Blue Meanie running in and doing stuff? Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lupus.
Oh yeah, Lupus.
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 And Chastity.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, after the DDT from Raven and the Rings of Saturn on Benoit, Saturn defeats Chris Benoit in 10 minutes 50 seconds. So that's half of Starrcade 97. Now we begin the second half with an all-time fucking classic. Buff Bagwell versus Lex Luger. Oh dear, what a difference 4 months makes for Luger.
James, is there a special backstage note for this match, or was this what it was supposed to be?
This was what it was supposed to be, but it didn't help. They wrestled like 4 or 5 times heading up to this pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, what a difference 4 months makes. Because 4 months prior, at the beginning of August, Luger is arguably the most white-hot wrestler in the States. Beats Hogan for the belt, only to drop it 5 days later back to Hogan, and then Luger's momentum started to go
never
away.
recovered and never recovered.
No.
Nope.
And now here he is working with Bagwell, which no disrespect to Bagwell, but Luger's going from here to here. And it's like...
And who the fuck decided to make this match as long as it was?
Yeah. Like, dear Lord, it's
what
like...
the hell?
It's like, I can say this...
Who were the fucking agents at this fucking pay-per-view?
I don't know if there were agents back then, dude.
Oh, actually,
producers or whatever. It was like,
here's your match,
hey,
go out there and do it. You got this much time.
Hey, Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they might have had an agent or two. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, this match...
There's like one person who's running Gorilla, and it could have been, I don't know, was Terry Taylor at this time or not?
Arn was doing backstage stuff at the time.
Okay, so
yeah, it could have been him.
Could have been any of those
Could
guys.
have been Arn.
But Luger can only do long matches if he's in there with Flair.
Right.
Or even
And
Steamboat.
Bagwell is no Flair.
Right.
Yeah, no disrespect to Bagwell, but he wasn't that level of a guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they would say that too watching this match. Like, Buff is still on the rise and Luger's on his way down. There ain't much to meet in the middle, so yeah, this is what we get. Another overbooked finish too.
Yeah, it's like this match, I can say it sucked, but worse than that, it was boring.
And that's worse
boring.
than suck.
Yeah.
Because sometimes suck can be entertaining in the opposite way.
Yeah.
Boring is boring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, we get the finish, another overbooked finish with interference again, this time from the NWO, as Scott Norton shows up, attacks Luger, and Norton puts Buff on Lex to get the pin for the win, as Buff Bagwell defeats Lex Luger in 16 minutes, 36 seconds, longest match of the night when it shouldn't have.
They could have took 10 minutes, or they could have took 5 minutes off the Goldberg match and like 8 minutes off this, put it on the Guerrero D match, and that could have been like a 30-minute draw.
It really could have.
Yeah.
Or we could have had another 6-man luchador exhibition.
There you go.
See?
My God, hey.
It's Mark Jr. and Hector Garza. And
It would have been way better than this shit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But moving away from that pile of garbage, we get to match number 6, the second of 3 championship matches for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. Champion Kurt Hennig versus challenger Diamond Dallas Page. So yeah, Hennig
Originally, this was supposed to be Hennig versus Flair in a cage, the big culmination of their feud, but Flair was injured at the time, so they went with DDP, and they took the cage stipulation away.
But to be fair, it did make sense for this match to happen, considering they had been feuding on and off for the better part of 6 months, roughly.
Right, and ever since Hennig had been U.S. champion, you'd gotten a few matches where Dallas had the match won, but interference led to disqualification.
So you could argue this was a good backup plan.
This was basically Page's coming out party too. This was
Yeah. And yeah, like
After
Walter
all,
said,
it really wasn't a bad match either. It was okay.
yeah,
It's a good match.
it's all right. Given Hennig's back problems and stuff and everything going on, it wasn't half bad.
He still bumped like a champ for DDP.
Probably along with Guerrero and Malenko, it's the only other like regular basic match on the card with no interference, no chicanery, no bullshit. It's just a straightforward one-on-one deal. No outside interferences, anything like that. So that helps it stand out in this show, especially.
Yes. And then Diamond Cutter for the win, and DDP culminates his best year up to this point with a championship as Diamond Dallas Page defeated Kurt Hennig in 10 minutes 52 seconds to become the new WCW United States Heavyweight Champion.
And I love how they treat this like it was Dallas's first title win when 2 years earlier he was TV champion.
Yeah.
But it was his first major championship. So it's like, yeah, fuck the TV title.
The TV title's a world title, and he's getting the U.S. title. That's his first major championship. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Logic.
But now...
now on to match number 7, the penultimate match of the night. Another one-on-one match for control of Nitro. Eric Bischoff with Scott Hall versus Larry Zbyszko with Bret Hart as special guest referee.
The hype for this match, it was Larry Zbyszko next to Sting was the top babyface in WCW at this time.
Absolutely.
Because the NWO had been given so much shit, and Larry was like, you know what? Fuck this and fuck Bischoff. I'm going to stand up for WCW.
Yeah.
And that was mostly Scott Hall. That was Scott Hall really pushing for Larry because Larry and Scott knew each other. Larry was one of the guys, one of the veterans that helped Scott get some exposure and get some knowledge in the ring. And Hall was always loyal to Larry and tried to help him out. And this is the deal. Scott Hall had the stroke at the time to go to Bischoff, said, this guy's a star. You got to do something with him. And they did.
And also, that was another stipulation with this. If Larry won, not only did WCW keep Nitro, but he finally gets his match with Scott Hall at the following pay-per-view.
Yeah. And, of course, the big thing with Bret being involved in it. So, yeah, he finally shows up to WCW after the screw job, the week prior?
Yeah.
Yeah, which contractually, legally, the earliest he could show up, that was.
Yeah.
And also, legally, he couldn't have a match until the following month.
Which is why he's the referee. Yep. So there you go.
Which is what a lot of people forget when they talk about this. It's like, oh, they wasted him. Well, it's like, legally, they had no choice.
Logic.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, for a match itself, it's a train wreck, but it's a good train wreck.
I like this match.
It's one of those where the only thing that mattered was the outcome.
Yeah.
But I think it shows...
Zbyszko was insanely over. Yeah.
But I think the storyline of the match, Bret's playing into it, Bischoff's being the cocky heel, Larry's doing his thing, and just the whole thing in the corner where Larry is just letting him punch him out. And it's like, that's great psychology, something you would never see anybody else do. Like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And the crowd picks up on it. You get them starting to rise when Larry's doing the cover-up thing, and they slowly starts to stand up like this. They're like, oh shit, he outsmarted him. They're there for it. They're hot for this fucking match. And of course, the big fuck-up spot, though, is the Scott Hall. Bischoff's in the trio. Whoa! Larry Zbyszko's distracted by Bret. Here comes Scott Hall. Sticks the gimmick in the kick pad. Here comes the kick. There it goes before it makes connection. And down goes Larry. And then Bischoff's dick comes out.
No.
Had to do it. Sorry.
I think Patrick's got to, or Bret Hart's got to nestle it back
up. And then Scott
the not
Hall
so Russian sickle.
That's a Russian sickle. That's right. Take it to the finish.
Yeah, so the finish was just that. Yeah, the screw up with Hall putting the thing in Bischoff's kick pad, and then the kick, and it flies off. Bret saw Hall do it and calls for the disqualification, and then Bret beats up on Bischoff and Hall. Sharpshooter raises Larry's hand as Larry Zbyszko defeated Eric Bischoff by disqualification in 11 minutes 12 seconds.
I will say Scott Hall is the MVP of this show. Because he puts over the Giant, and he puts over Bret and Larry. He puts over 3 people on this fucking show.
Oh, Easy E. I'm going to take care of your show tonight. Don't worry.
I got you, man. I got you.
Hey,
the fucking way he sells it when Bret raises Larry and Scott gets in there and does the whole fucking Wile E. Coyote or something going after the rope runner.
Quickly, run fast.
I'm getting paid all this money. I don't give a shit who I put over.
Nobody looks better on their back than I do.
I've been Intercontinental Champion 80 times. It don't matter.
Pay me the fucking money.
Easy E, I don't have a match. I don't have a match. I'm getting paid a lot of money. So you might as well, get your money's worth. I'll be involved. If you need me, I'll be out there.
Yeah, it's quick cheers to Scott Hall, who we did lose this year. So
Yes.
Shout out to the bad guy.
But now...
I can see, I bet you like Bischoff was like out there, Scott, what are you doing out here? I'm helping your show, putting it over.
Saving your ass.
Saving your ass.
This shit sucks.
But now, ladies and gentlemen... But before we get started...
Oh, fuck.
Beer is good. Beer is good.
It's about to get real, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
Boys
main
and
event,
girls.
match number 8 of Starrcade 1997, the third and final championship match of the night, the biggest and most important match in WCW history. For the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, champion Hollywood Hogan versus challenger Sting. Now, before we get into the match, hold on, Ricky. Before we get into the match, we gotta talk about the build-up. So we've been talking, like, this match had been built up since Hogan turned at Bash at the Beach the year prior, with the NWO forming, and then Sting trying to fight for WCW. Then War Games happens, where there was the dissension between Sting and Luger, and then, is that good enough for you? And then the Crow gimmick comes up, and it's like, oh shit, what's going on here? Because Sting, being, in my opinion, one of the best talkers of all time, being over the top, now suddenly he's quiet, and he's just watching from above like he's sad. And then the loyalty tests with DDP and Savage, and then finally comes back home to fight against the NWO. And then over the next several months, J.J. Dillon trying his damnedest to get Sting to come back to the ring. And the final straw, remind me, what Nitro episode was it, James? Where
it was it was right before the Clash in August, where it's like, okay, you have until the Clash to tell me what the hell you want, and then Sting just comes out and points it back to a Hogan sign. And then just starts pointing all over the arena. It's like, yeah, everybody but JJ knows what Sting wants.
Yeah, and then eventually JJ's like, okay, I got a contract, you'll face 6. And then Sting, what do you want?
Actually,
okay, you got Hogan.
Scott Hall or Hennig or somebody?
It was like, it was going to be Six and Hall and Hennig and all these other NWO guys, but it's like, motherfucker, you know what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the signing of the contract in October, the press conference stare down, and then here we go. So, but before we talk about the match, yeah, you got Hogan coming out first as the champion, which always is a peeve for me watching matches, but it worked here because we
Sting's
no longer
entrance.
have the man called Sting. We get the Crow theme, and holy shit, the best entrance in company history. This was like a WrestleMania entrance. Like, holy
It
shit.
felt it was.
Yeah.
I compare it a lot to when the Undertaker made his entrance at SummerSlam '94. It was like the
Yes.
big return.
Yeah.
Yes.
You had the laser show and the thunder and the lightning,
The
and then out
narration
came
from the
Sting,
kid, and then Sting. Oh my god.
which apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but the kid who said all that stuff was Eric's kid,
Oh.
Garrett.
Wow.
Wow.
Young baby Garrett.
Garrett, who is that's Wes Briscoe. I'm sorry. He's married to the one girl in AEW. Red Velvet.
Gotcha.
I get the two mixed up, but they do team up. Garrett Bischoff and
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. Aces and eights. But yeah, Sting's entrance, absolutely amazing. Wish we could say the same about the match. Now the
bell
match
rang.
The bell rang. Now the match itself, it's not terrible.
Not horrible.
It's just
No.
But if you were to tell me what is the most disappointing match in the history of the business, it's this.
Yeah.
This should have been the greatest match, or if not, one of the greatest matches in company history, with the build and everything.
Quite frankly, this should have been in a cage.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it really
Should've
should have
been
been
a
in a
huge
cage,
blow-up.
and it would have been perfect. But the
I
big
think
issue with this match, Sting had some ring rust. To say he hadn't touched the ring in over a year would be an understatement. And yeah.
Well, there's several factors here watching the match again. First off, Hogan, this is Hogan's ego getting in the way of logic. Logic! The opening of the match is Hogan beating up on Sting for a couple of minutes. And then Sting hits a dropkick, finally does something, and Hogan powders out. Gets a huge pop. That should have been about 30 seconds of Hogan beating him up, and then Sting fires up on him, beats the fuck out of him, and then Hogan powders. It's those little details like that that just like, this isn't feeling right. Sting has been gone for a year and a half in the ring. Hogan should not be getting over on him this much this early.
I remember watching that match as a kid. I'm waiting for Sting to back Hogan into the corner and do his
right. Exactly. Just fire up on his ass. This is the guy you desperately wanted to get your hands on. You just fucking stand there. I'm fucking emo now. I don't want to do anything. It's like, come on. This is not the right storytelling. That's Hogan getting in somebody's ear behind the scenes like, oh, brother, I got to get up on it. I got to get the heat.
He doesn't look tan enough.
That's another factor.
He isn't leathery yet.
Yeah.
So for the structure of the match, that right there takes away from the overall, like we were saying earlier,
number one.
The big fight feel of this show, and especially this match. It's like you want to see Sting beat the fuck out of him. You didn't get that. So already you're working against the logic. As the match goes on, still Sting is like, he can't emote. He can't sell. He can't do anything because his whole gimmick now is he doesn't sell. He doesn't show any emotion. So that takes away from the match too. There's one point where he's getting his ass handed to him. He's down, and he's like, and referee's talking to me. He's like, but he doesn't do anything. He just has that straight shot the whole time. And that again is like, are you fucking there, dude? Hello, John Cena, several years earlier. Wait, hello, are you in there? It just doesn't fucking work. So that's another thing that takes away from the aura of this match, having that lack of emotion and sell and just anything to connect with your audience. It's like wrestling with a mask on. You have to do so much more with your body, and he wasn't doing that. And
whatever they were doing, it wasn't working with the crowd because the crowd was quiet. They were not.
Yeah,
they were quiet
until the end. But that was,
And so, now let's get to the end.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, red flag number one. What Scott was just talking about. Then we get the biggest red flag of all. Okay. So let me go on this one. So the original plan for this finish was going to be Hogan hitting the leg drop on Sting. Nick Patrick counts 1, 2, 3. And before the bell could ring, Brett holds the timekeeper. It ain't happening again. There ain't going to be no screw job on my watch. Restart the match. Sting going on with a total house of fire. Scorpion. And wins the belt. However, what ended up happening was a botched screw up and what I most likely think it was, a fucking sabotage on Hogan's part.
Hey, brother.
Because...
Can you count regular, brother?
Yeah, because... Yeah, that's been a long-standing rumor that Hogan sabotaged the finish to make Sting look stupid because he was out of shape and make Brett look bad because of their tumultuous past. And a lot of wrestlers have been saying that for years, and I'm starting to agree with it. It's like, because all the pieces line up together. It's like it all just... I know correlation doesn't equal causation, but in this situation...
You're quoting.
So, Hogan hits the leg drop, gets the pin, and it's a standard 1, 2, 3. He fucking beats Sting clean.
Yeah.
He fucking beats Sting clean. I remember everybody at the pay-per-view we were watching at my friend's house.
Yeah.
My friends, the NWO friends, all got up. Yes! I was like, wait, right.
We're looking at that too. I was with Scotty and Lee and all those guys, and we're like, that's the fucking no. They fucked up. They must have fucked up. That wasn't supposed to.
They had to screw up.
That was my same reaction when Lesnar broke the streak. I was like, did somebody fuck up or something?
Yeah, me too. I was there.
And then you go for the ringing of the bell, and Brett stops him, but it's like, okay, he stops a guy who made it was no fast count.
No. That was the big
They
mess.
played it off like a fast count, but it's like, okay, so now you kind of screwed Hogan over because he beat Sting clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like the big issue with this. If this was in fact Hogan sabotaging this whole fucking ordeal to make Brett look bad and make Sting look bad because of Sting being out of shape heading into the match, you doesn't matter who the fuck you are. You do not sacrifice the most important, biggest match in the history of your company for that kind of petty bullshit.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
You wonder why I don't like Hogan sometimes.
Why did
Sometimes
Hogan
I love
put
him, sometimes I hate him, and this is an example of why I hate him at times.
Why didn't Hogan put Sting and the Scorpion to emulate the Montreal Screwjob? Or like a figure 4 or something like that?
Yeah.
And have Bischoff do ring the damn bell, you know.
And then Brett shows up and stops.
Right.
And then do what they ended up doing. But in the end, after all the confusion, sabotage.
How many weeks was this outside the Screwjob?
About 7 weeks.
About 6-7 weeks, yeah. Because the Screwjob was the 9th, and this was what, the 26th, 27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's almost 2 months. Yeah.
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 I was wondering what the finish was if they had it planned out prior to that.
If they did, yeah.
The finish was going to be the whole fast count.
Yeah. If they had done a legit fast count, then all the things that happened afterward would have made sense.
Yes.
And would have been way more like, okay, I get it. But because Nick Patrick did the regular count, that screwed up everything. One other little detail too with this match, you had Scott Norton, who was the big factor in the 6-man tag. He plants Steiner so Savage can hit the elbow and get the win. That's one. Then during, I think it was the Luger match, when he's got Savage up in the rack. Here comes Norton, bang, knocks out Luger, so Buff can get the win. In this match, he runs in, takes one punch from Sting, and he's out. That was all he did.
Sting was the most overpowered guy in wrestling.
I guess.
He was OP, yes.
He was OP. He was God level.
Rating.
God mode.
he had God mode turned on.
The Nameless King.
But yeah, after the confusion, botch, sabotage, whatever you feel, after the restarting of the match, Sting goes on a House of Fire and locks the Scorpion on Hogan for the win, as Sting defeated Hollywood Hogan by submission in 12 minutes 52 seconds. And then we get the big celebration with Luger and the Giant and all the WCW guys, and then what does Sting say after the match?
Mamacita!
And for the first time, Sting has something to say. Is that English?
Is that English or Spanish?
Yeah, after all those months of not talking, the first thing he says is Mamacita.
Uh-huh.
Something Phantasma Mamacita.
And he wasn't doing that yet.
It's like, what was he speaking in code or something? Or was he trying to shout out a side piece?
Yeah, maybe. He was having problems back then. He was having those issues back then. Another thing, too, though, also, when you watch the match, after Sting puts him in the Scorpion and Brett hits that, calls for the bell, the fucking crowd explodes.
They did.
You cannot deny it. They legit go fucking crazy.
Because that's all they cared about. The only thing they cared about was Sting winning the belt.
And they got it. So they were happy when that happened. Yeah, it was a big stumble, sinkhole in the middle of the trek to get there. But they got through it. They did the frickin', Night Industry 2000 turbo boost over the fucking thing just to get to that goddamn finish. They got there eventually. And the crowd fucking loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's funny how Sting never recovered from this.
Nope. How long was his title reign? How long was the reign?
This reign lasts until Nitro.
He got stripped of the belt on the first Thunder, then he won it back at Super Brawl, and then lost it at Spring Stampede.
He always remained at the peak of the card, but he was never the top guy. And when they tried, they tried getting him as a heel, but it didn't work.
That didn't work. And then
NWO Wolfpack.
The last time Sting was as over as this was when he saved Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Oh yeah.
Or hell, even Joker Sting in TNA. He was super
that's true.
over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Smaller company, but yeah.
But yeah, and that's Starrcade 1997. So overall, there's a reason why we call this the most cursed pay-per-view in company history. Because on one hand, business-wise, best show they've ever had, at least up until this point in terms of attendance and Livegate. But pay-per-view buys never got touched. The show itself, though, if not for Guerrero Malenko, in terms of the show itself, this would have been the worst pay-per-view in company history. But with Guerrero Malenko, it's merely one of the worst, with an awesome opener and a somewhat satisfying ending despite the fuck-ups. Oh, and Walter just dropped.
Walter just blew up.
Oh.
That happens.
Yeah.
Not in my watch, brother.
But
it wasn't working out for him, that brother. Okay, there you go.
There he be.
Oh, he's muted though.
Walter.
I'm back.
There.
Right. What were you gonna say?
You were gonna say?
I was just saying, if we're going by Meltzer stars, sure, it's not very highly regarded. But if we're going by business, it's very well regarded.
Yeah, he does the business.
The Al Snow School of Business.
There you go.
It sold the most tickets.
Right. It was the main event.
What was
the
the
big pop?
What was the
of
best
year.
match at WrestleMania 3?
We know that.
Oh,
We know that. What was it? Dumb shit.
Dumb shit.
You have to find a balance. You have to have a balancing act for this stuff.
Yeah, but stars don't make money.
No,
Stars don't sell tickets.
Don't convert to cash.
So yeah, like I said, business wise, best show ever. Show itself sucked, apart from the opener. So, but
I mean,
to come up with a middle
maybe if
ground,
it's this game, Meltzer stars mean money, but it's quality.
So to find the balance, at best this show was average, and at worst a bad show, but not the total drizzling shits.
Yeah.
So would I recommend you check out this show? Just so you say you've seen all Starrcades. If anything else, watch the opener and the Sting celebration and entrance.
Yeah. This isn't even the worst pay-per-view that year in WCW.
That's true.
No, Sold Out was way worse than this.
Horrendous.
Yeah. But now on to favorite, least favorite, sleeper, and shocker. Hands down for me, favorite Guerrero Malenko. That's really the only. It's really the only saving match on this show.
Least favorite
Goldberg Mongo.
Bagwell Luger.
Yeah, Bagwell Luger.
It would be between those two. Yeah.
At least Goldberg Mongo had an explosive finish. Bagwell Luger was just lame.
Popcorn fart.
Yeah.
Sleeper, DDP, and Henning.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I would. Yeah, I guess that one. I mean,
maybe just on crowd reaction alone, Zbyszko and Bischoff.
Zbyszko Bischoff. Yeah. I mean, I always have a warm spot in my ass for that one. So
the crowd's hot for it. The crowd is really into it, and it's about the equivalency of. Well, I wouldn't say that. I was about the equivalency of like Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette.
No, God no.
But it's like Bischoff was the real top heel in WCW. Let's be perfectly real at this time.
Yeah, at that time, yeah. Dr. Harvey Schuler got like a huge baby face pop when he fired Bischoff.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people thought it was Ted Turner at first when he came out.
Yep.
Yep. Kind of see that.
And then
Harvey Schuler.
and then shocker, the fuck up of the main event finish.
Yeah. Rick Patrick fucking up the pinfall.
Yep.
And Nikita's dick coming out.
Well, or the shocker of so many replacements and people not showing up.
Yeah.
And
Nash going into heart problems.
I'm going to go on a video editor and overshadow Bret Hart, replace Bret Hart with Nikita's penis to stop the match.
There you go. Nikita's dick stops the bell from being rung.
The Russian signal.
Get on my watch.
Who's Mr. Simpson?
Vagina boob.
Any push job endeavor?
Push Job Endeavor. You ready for this?
Boy, here we go.
Oh
You
god.
ready for this? You ready for this?
Russian sickle.
You ready? You ready? You ready? DDP, Sting, Goldberg.
Ah,
Shit. Okay.
You love me or you know.
shit.
He's gone. That is why I do it.
You got to think of the context of the time.
Oh, I got it. I got mine. Push Goldberg because he's the most marketable of the three. Job Sting out because Sting was good at doing jobs, and Endeavor DDP. He's towards the end of his career. You're not going to get a much value
Towards the end of his career in '97.
Okay,
He was still there until the end of WCW.
What?
I
See,
would
with those three, the tough one is the Endeavor.
I would push DP, and I would drop Sting and Endeavor Goldberg.
You'd Endeavor Goldberg before he became
Goldberg.
something?
before he explodes, and then you realize, oh shit,
That's a lot of
We
money.
could have
down
had
there.
that.
a lot of money on there.
Again, that's the tough one.
Or,
Push back and play
long-term
football.
investment. Look
He
how
He
Well,
couldn't
they-
play football anymore.
Mm.
That's why he stopped playing football because of an injury. That's why he became a wrestler.
But maybe Vince could have offered him something more. Started Goldberg properly.
Yeah, and look what happened in 03. But
Ching.
Nice.
push Goldberg. You could job DDP and Endeavor Sting.
Okay, so another one that wants to kill Sting. Okay, that's fine. 'Cause
Levi.
You just had a year and a half of him build up in one match, and he becomes world champion, and you want to get rid of him.
The Endeavor's the hard part.
That's right. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I did this. That's why I did this. It's like, oh, the push is easy, the job could be easy, but who the fuck do you get rid of?
Because DDP lost a bunch and he never lost momentum.
Levi is ignoring this like so fucking hard because he does want to answer.
He's gonna throw himself on the bed soon. I'm predicting that.
He's gonna take a bump in a minute.
He's gonna take a bump.
Just fucking answer it.
We're waiting.
Well,
We're waiting. Show's going long, kid.
And push DDP, Job Sting, Endeavor Goldberg. There.
Another one that wants to kill Goldberg off. God damn. Jeez.
I'm not killing DDP or Sting off. I'll easily
Me and
kill
James are the only
Goldberg
two that
off.
push Goldberg.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh dear God. Ugh.
it's make believe, Levi.
It's just
don't
not
give
real.
a shit.
For fun.
I don't
It's
like
all
having.
It's
I
all
don't
bullshit
like-
and it's bad for you.
I
It's
don't
bad for
like having my brain fucked.
you. You don't know what you're missing, kid.
It makes.
You get
You
your
now I
brains
know
fucked
how.
out.
Now I know how.
you wanna-
Now I know how SpongeBob felt in that one episode where he's reading books all day, going, "I
If you wanna
can't do
have-
it, Squidward."
If you want to have your brain fucked, watch Terrifier 2. I saw it last night, Ed.
Oh.
What the?
Yeah, well,
What?
you must have seen Terrifier 2 by now.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it.
How bad is it?
It's pretty gruesome, but
It's pretty
it doesn't
There's
have
no
a lot of
story.
weight behind
It's
it.
no fucking plot, so who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of weight behind it.
You do
There was
gore,
actually a
horror,
movie I
and
said.
gore.
There was a movie I said this year that I thought was actually more gruesome. That was more gruesome than Terrifier
Speak no
2.
evil. Speak no evil.
No. Speak No Evil was just upsetting.
Smile?
What's that?
Was it Smile?
No, I haven't seen Smile yet. Was it this year or was it last year?
Really good.
Oh well.
I gotta think. My mind is my mind's on wrestling right now, so I gotta.
Yeah.
I know it do crossover shit all the time. We're on a big break now from Necrocasticon as it's being revamped, so we're done with that for until next year.
But now,
But
speaking of
Survi-
wrestling, this
Survivor
week,
Series. Survivor
Survivor
Series.
Series. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. Survivor Series this year. I'm gonna say it top 5 Survivor Series ever.
One
Like
of the best.
holy
God,
shit!
yeah.
A long time.
big deal
Holy
with that.
To
fucking
the
shit!
Yep.
point that you had Ozzy appear sorta in the pay-per-view. That alone.
Well, originally Triple H wanted Ozzy to perform at the show, but Ozzy felt the timing wasn't right.
Knowing Triple H, he would have had Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, maybe Bill perform War Pigs live.
That would have been amazing. That would have been the one Sabbath reunion of the original 4 that we should have had 10 years ago.
Yeah. But knowing a certain Sharon, and then Ozzy being sick, of course, it's understandable, but from the intro, that opening intro was like, it gave me fucking chills.
Set the tone for it, too.
Yeah.
Really create.
Now, every time I listen to War Pigs, I think of that. I think of War Games.
Yep. Did a good job of doing that.
War Games.
Yeah.
So we started out with the women's War Games match.
Great opener.
Great opener, more weapon-based, as it needed to be. We had prognosticated here that one match, of course, would have the heel team win, and one match would have the babyface team win. I believe we had it backwards.
We had it reversed.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we had it backwards.
I thought, reverting back to Terrifier 2, I thought Sadness was gorier than Terrifier 2.
Sadness. Did you talk about that on Necro?
Yeah, it was a Taiwanese horror film, like a zombie.
Oh, the Taiwanese one. Yes. Now I remember.
Yeah, it's not really. It's more like a rage type thing rather than undead, but it's fucking batshit nuts. My big problem with Terrifier 2 is that meme with the guy with the stick pointing at something, saying, "Come on, do something." That's the first 45 minutes of Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 should have been maybe an hour, 45 minutes at best, not almost 3 hours. Fucking nuts. But that's what I gotta say about it.
Not that. Jesus Christ. All right, back to War Games.
45 minutes.
But I like how during this match, I also love during this match, the damage control teased the Tower of Doom spot and then decide not to get heat.
Yes, that was good.
So that was good.
Well,
I was hoping for Eero to go up into the cell and put up trash can like she did in the NXT War Games. I wanted her to do that again.
I thought as War Games matches go, I think the men's match is a top 5 for me. I put it up there with.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
But for the women's match, they did what they needed to do. This match really signified Becky. It really solidified her back in the company as the top woman in the company, one of the top stars, definitely in the company there.
Setting up her versus Bayley down the road.
Yep.
We should have expected that the faces were going to win because it was Becky's return.
Yeah.
That was the big hint.
Then again, at the time we didn't know if it was Becky or somebody else. We didn't know until Friday. Like, oh, it's Becky.
Yeah.
How about the beatings Dakota Kai and Bayley took?
Yes.
Oh, Dakota Kai. I gotta say, Dakota Kai, the Iron Woman of the matchup for all the beatings she took.
Bumped her ass off.
She must be dating that Cage because she got fucked so much that match. God damn.
Oh my god. Fucking tossed into it and everything.
Yep.
I wish I was that Cage.
Was it Bianca? It was Bianca who threw her right into the cage, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally,
She did that.
A child.
I was like, I was afraid that the cage door was gonna open. I'm like, fuck.
Nikki doing her
Bayley was gonna
dive.
die after that with that power bomb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nikki doing her dive.
And if you kind of noticed,
Io doing hers.
Back forward into this, did you see Alexa Bliss a bit pissed off? Or is it just me that I'm looking more into it? Like at the very end of the match when they're raising her hand, she doesn't seem as happy.
Probably hurting.
Yeah.
Or selling. I mean, I mean, it was a rough physical contest.
That was another thing too. They brought back the history of Nikki and Alexa with Nikki going, I didn't forget. Leading all that in that too, using all those little storyline elements in there. We see a lot more in the men's match, which we'll get to. But I think the opener.
You know what I would have loved that Bayley would have done, like get some sympathy from Becky. She would have done this, and then Becky just beats the living crap out of Bayley.
Oh, do that, yeah.
Yeah, I wish she would have done that. It would have sold it even more.
Yeah. Everyone played a strong part in that. Mia Yim made that was her return match. She made it count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Made it count.
Yep. And Rhea Ripley looked great. She looked strong.
She looks She looks amazing.
She looks amazing.
By amazing, doing the pull-ups in the cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Step on me, please.
I was like,
Freaking beat the shit out of me.
Trying to clone himself with her. Let's just say that.
Throw me off the Empire State Building.
Jesus.
Buddy Murphy wants a woman who's basically just like him. So
right, there you go.
But then we get to AJ Finn, another great match between these two.
Match.
Would you say this was better than their TLC 2017 match?
No.
I don't think so. But this was a good. It's still
good.
They never had bad matches. I watch them wrestle anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
So it was still good. They slowed it down. It had a more deliberate pace to it because they knew, their second match on the card of 5 matches.
You're coming after a War Games match.
Right. So you can't go balls out with everything they can do. We know that. We're going to get rematches. I hope so. But,
Michael Cole talking about the history of Bullet Club.
How is that?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And all its connotations without saying certain people. But that was incredible to see that. And the rest of the OC and all the people on the floor, the rest of them all battling out of their building there just to get him out of there. Okay, we got to give you guys your spot. Okay, let's get back to the one-on-one deal. And AJ winning after how long?
First one-on-one singles pay-per-view win in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The streak is over.
And the fans were into it. But I just felt that just one phenomenal forearm. I was like, I thought Finn was gonna kick out. I was like, 1, 2, kick out. I was like, holy shit, he beat him clean.
Yep. And that's good too. We don't need to see
that's good.
Freaking this, that, and the other. It's not fucking AEW or New Japan match.
Yeah. And then
but
Ronda,
then we got to the
and Shotzi. Well, let me talk about
this.
Well, let me talk about this. I've seen a lot of people say this match was terrible. I thought it was okay at best and at worst average. The problem is there's a lot of people out there saying Ronda's not trying, she don't care. What do you expect her to do when working one-off opponents with not really any build? And it wasn't like she was completely destroying Shotzi. Shotzi got her moments, and Ronda did her best to make Shotzi look as good as possible because she gets it. People, Ronda gets the business.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that they had no chemistry. You could tell it was. I think the exact, from what Levi just said, what people's perception is Ronda doesn't care. I think it's the opposite. I think she's caring too much and she's trying too hard. And that is being a hindrance to her in the ring. To where she's not she's not Charlotte Flair. She can't carry people that are kind of on their way up. That's what Shotzi is, okay? So, Shotzi's great, but she's not at that top tier yet. And this run for Ronda as champion has not been the best. Let's be honest here.
You compare her rookie year, which is one of the best rookie years ever, and then now it's like she hadn't been in the ring a fucking day.
Right.
Before this year.
It doesn't have.
What I thought was more insulting than anything that transpired in this match between Shotzi and Ronda? The fact Kayla Sparks was one of the plants there for the spot.
I thought that was her.
She was one of the plants there, and then afterwards she proceeds to take selfies as they're all on the ground, plus backstage thanking WWE for the honor and opportunity. Come on. You're supposed to be a fan. You're planted as a fan. Don't fucking,
This is a girl we know. We knew when she started. So from the capital region of New York, and she's still
she's very happy-go-lucky, and I'm glad she's getting all this stuff. But let's stop being silly.
This is not going to get you signed, sweetness.
No,
so just
doing Mark shit like that.
Yeah. So, they tried, but execution was not done well for this match. Then we go on to a really fucking good match.
Honestly, and funny enough, throughout this whole show, I was on TeamSpeak with some of my racing buddies who are also wrestling fans. And one of my friends, Kyle, he thought that he was going to do a piss break to this match, but he decided not to. Because, good God, this is one of the best triple threats I've seen in a long time. Holy shit.
All 3 of them were on their A game.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Great job.
Crap. And all the fucking bumps, like fucking I'm trying to remember. There was one spot in the match where I can't remember. I think it was Rollins who did something off the top rope, and he broke up a pin, and it almost looked like he landed on Lashley's the frog splash. It almost looked like he landed on Lashley's head, and I was like, "Oh shit, is Lashley hurt?" No, I guess he barely escaped a concussion.
I think Lashley's got a very hard head, so
I think so. I think you're right.
There's got to be a lot.
A hard head in more ways than one. The Waka Waka.
Mm-hmm. And Seth doing the continuous dives there, and Theory's starting to get his footing now. Now he doesn't have to fuck around with the Money in the Bank shit. Now he can be himself. Seems way more comfortable in the ring. And
so much for him being buried.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. Yeah. The all-knowing internet wrestling community. Oh, Vince isn't there. He's getting buried now. Yeah. Worst casket ever. His career is ruined.
This is Triple H saying no. You're not getting the Austin Theory Vince wanted. You're going to get the one that I want. And that's a badass.
The badass.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Nothing left to lose.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a great finish to this one. Made sense. It was simplistic, but beautiful at the same time. And the crowd was fucking on fire for this match. They loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now to the big one, the men's War Games.
Story time, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down and enjoy the show.
Story time galore.
Get your popcorn ready.
Walter made this point, I think, on his Facebook. Could you imagine 15 years ago, Kevin Steen and El Generico are going to be involved in one of the biggest storylines and one of the biggest shows in the biggest company of all time?
Despite the fact a couple of people knew all along back then.
Oh, yeah, of course they did. Yeah, because
one person.
Actually, Scott and I recall Scott and I on the phone, talking about, Steen and Generico and Ring of Honor. And, we were a little Jim Cornette-ish about them.
Well, it was a different time, too. This is back still, Vince and Johnny Ace and all those people are in charge. Like, these guys aren't going to get a fucking break when they go to the WWE. They don't have the bodies for it. They can't talk. They can't cut the promos, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. As times change.
Sammy is now the most entertaining wrestler in the entire fucking company.
I never thought Sammy, especially El Generico. Owens as a talker, I've always watched his mic work in Ring of Honor with Steve Corino and such. Some really and with Adam Pearce, some really good stuff. But I never a million years I picture El Generico ever
being who he is now and having that spot. And Sammy especially has been the glue for this entire angle and storyline.
Something is great when Cornette is saying, I never thought that El Generico would be anything, but holy fucking shit.
And he's El Generico was back then. He was the Orange Cassidy of his time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very character, very gimmicky,
Olay!
Yeah.
Kenny Omega and Chuck Taylor, I want to piss in your boot. I eat children.
Yeah. Who the hell?
Like a buffet. But yeah, the match itself was fucking awesome. But the story, my god! And here we thought, and they throw a curveball at us. Here we thought this was going to be the beginning of the dissension in the bloodline. We thought Sammy would take the fall. No, they throw a curveball and we get the exact opposite. Yeah, KO's about to get 1, 2. This is your family, and then boom, right in the balls, and then to Jay, and then the frog splash, and then he finally earned Jay's trust, and that got a pop.
About that was the little details. He didn't break the pin. He went to the ref.
Stopped.
Yeah.
The ref.
Yeah.
Then just that fucking stare. That whole match was all leading to that moment. Yeah. It wasn't about Roman. It wasn't about Sheamus. Drew.
He also just won, too. Roman didn't kick out.
Nope.
Sammy literally cost him the match.
And here we thought Sammy was going to be the one who causes the bloodline the match. Nope. He's the one who helps him win the match.
And it's going to be
This was going to be the beginning of the cracks in the foundation. I thought this was going to lead to Sammy's eventual ousting, which is still going to happen.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be something if they did it on the SmackDown before Christmas. Sammy gives all these gifts, and Roman and the Bloodline have a big gift for him, and it's a fucking beatdown.
Oh, God.
Or what if they do it on the 30th anniversary of Raw? And that's coming up.
Yeah. Or better yet, or to really get the heat, do it at the Chamber in Montreal.
Yep.
Because you want to get all the heat in the world on the Bloodline.
That is where I think Sammy and Roman are going to have their match.
Something has to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, now with the story, now with KO and Sammy, with KO saying, I'm not even mad, but I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Which is kayfabe for they're going to have another match.
Yeah,
but,
and especially about the whole, I know after the match that Roman was pissed.
Please.
Oh, yeah, backstage.
Slapped him like a redheaded stepchild. Broke his eardrum.
Yeah, ruptured eardrum.
At least Roman didn't scorch the earth during the press conference.
True.
That motherfucker Kevin Steen. Yeah, I'm using his real name.
No, when we went to we had to subpoena old Marjorie after we found out in Discovery.
I'm old. I'm tired. I'm hurt. I'm working with a fucking child.
That needs to be on a T-shirt now. I swear to God.
Could be.
But
overall, it's the new. You got to make Roman look very strong.
Yeah. But overall, Survivor Series War Games. God damn it!
Great show.
Yeah, like I said, I'd say it's a top 5.
The men's match was a top 5 War Games for me. I put it up
there
with,
with
92 Sting versus Dangerous Alliance. 87, I put it up there with.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, there wasn't, unlike those matches, there wasn't a drop of blood spilt.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Proving they don't need it.
Nope. Maybe some accidental blood, but not,
Yeah, there was some accidental blood, but I mean, like, there was no bleeding or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Unlike blood and guts, where like everybody starts bleeding the minute they enter the ring.
Honestly,
it's the John Moxley Invitational.
Honestly, I thought with War Games, Roman was gonna show some color. That's my first thought. I was like, he's the only one who can maybe show color. Maybe Drew. Maybe Sheamus. With Sheamus, my God, he has to rock it up his ass now.
Yeah, because now we get to the other stuff from this week. Let's start with last night. You get the segment on backstage where Sammy's like, hey, I'm going to go get us some food. Well, wait, Solo should go with you. Why? Well, you're making a lot of enemies now, so you might want to let him do his job. Okay, I'll bring back some food, and then Sheamus beats the fuck out of the Usos. So yeah, you can definitely tell they're setting up Sheamus Roman for Royal Rumble for sure. And then also last night, Tegan Nox is back, baby.
Yes, she is.
And what a novel concept! Continuity with her and Dakota Kai and Michael Cole bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Long-term storytelling.
To think where Michael Cole was 6 months ago as a commentator to where he is now.
Yeah.
It's like, who is this guy and what did he do with Michael Cole?
Yep. Night and day. Love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything is firing on all cylinders right now.
And now the Survivor Series. Now the Survivor Series is dead and gone. We said this is gonna set up the rest for WrestleMania Rumble, and I still don't know.
There's still so much to contemplate.
The big rumor, The Rock returning at the Rumble and winning.
Yep, saw that. Saw Rome. Yeah.
Did Dave say it? Because if he said it, it's not happening.
I don't know if Dave said it, but there's plenty of wrestling people out there who are trying to make the assumption.
Please, no.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Cody.
Win the Rumble.
It's gonna be Cody.
Unless they're gonna do Roman main eventing both nights.
Which
having him defend the belt separate.
Right. Which
wondering, I mean, why throw away these great storylines to just put The Rock in there?
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like if The Rock is involved, the title doesn't need to be involved.
No,
it's a whole different.
It's a box office ordeal, but
I mean, we I think we contemplated there's the possibility of this. I think I mentioned it on YouTube the other night. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there is the possibility. If you had Roman and KO at the Rumble for the title, KO beats Roman, and then Sammy wins the Rumble. there's one of your night main events. KO and fucking Sammy main eventing WrestleMania for the titles.
Who the fuck would have ever thought that would happen?
Not saying it is.
By the way,
I could see
those
that.
two should those two should have left for AEW this past year.
Right. Mm-hmm. If you did that, that's where The Rock could come in, step up to Roman, and you get Rock Roman the other night main event.
Yeah.
You definitely have that possibility.
Yeah, which that makes more sense now because of the way they're setting it all up with Sammy and KO now. Yeah. But I think we're still all in agreement what really should happen is Roman, Cody, Usos, Sammy, KO.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
But
we were saying that for a while, but they keep just changing the narrative on us.
They keep throwing these curveballs.
Yep.
Unless it's
Clash of the Castle, Drew's getting the title. What?
Nope.
War Games, Sammy's breaking up the team. He's going to screw it up. What?
Nope.
This shit is making sense.
I'm
not used to this.
Or a complete curveball. Can you imagine Roman wins at WrestleMania, still champion? I mean, they could do that. They could.
That's another possibility.
For all we know, they want him to WrestleMania 40 as the champion.
Hey.
But the thing with that is you need a year's worth of opponents.
That's the thing too.
That's the thing.
That, you know,
and you don't have that.
If that's the case, and maybe that's I don't know.
Now,
if they make it to 40, who is the opponent?
Right.
That's the thing.
It's got to be some sort of underdog because every 10th WrestleMania, it's an underdog world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Brett at 10.
Benoit Guerrero, Bryan.
I mean, Sammy is the one who's most in line to be that. If you got Sammy Roman, WrestleMania 40, that's Daniel Bryan, Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton all over again.
Yes.
You know, that could happen. Can they drag it out a year? Yes, they can. But it's like, do they want to? Can it work? Can they make it happen? We have to see.
If they want, they could, but it would backfire.
It could.
No, we also got a whole year of storytelling. We got Sammy has been on a journey already. I mean, how are we going to extend that journey?
Unless Roman loses the title to SummerSlam.
Or you'd throw the curveball and have Sammy win it this year.
At the Rumble?
No, at Mania.
At Mania.
At Mania 39,
Yep. There's that too.
Which there is that too.
There is that.
I mean, I'm just throwing out the idea, of course, like Roman Sammy at 40 for that underdog scenario, but who's to say everyone's going to be healthy in a year?
Exactly.
Injuries happen.
All Sammy's got to do is this, and he's out for 6 months.
He's done. Yeah, exactly.
And we don't want another WrestleMania 32 on our hands.
No.
I mean, for all we know, The Rock could cost Roman the title at WrestleMania 39, set it up for WrestleMania 40.
But the thing of it is, the guy who beats Roman needs to beat him clean. If you have The Rock interfere, that'll take away from it.
Yes.
We're going to stretch out a year of opponents would possibly make it, doing another Braun versus Roman feud.
Braun's lost so much momentum.
I also heard Braun's pissing backstage off already.
And
I don't know how true that is.
And the fans would cheer Roman.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Ricochet? Didn't Ricochet already wrestle Roman?
Roman?
No.
No.
You could also do a pseudo face turn on Roman and put him in a program with Gunter.
Yeah.
Gotta split the crowd.
That would split the crowd.
It's okay, but you can't put both belts on the line, can you?
I don't think Gunter's going to have the belt much longer. I see. Actually,
no. I think Gunter's going to have the belt for a while.
Keep it until he breaks the record.
Yeah.
What is the record?
454 days.
Honky tonk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, have him hold it, and then the guy that takes it off of him, once he's up in the main roster, drag it off.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker, that's another guy you could put in there with
Or Sheamus gets another chance.
Either Sheamus or Dragunov.
I thought we were going to get Sheamus and Roman at the Rumble.
So did I.
I still think it might happen, but then they could do KO Roman as well.
I think I've heard more that it's supposed to go in the KO Roman thing, but that's hearsay, so I can't say.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
We just
And
gotta wait
also,
and see.
we're running up for the Rumble. Kofi already mentioned he's in the Rumble match.
Yes. Yep.
Which means we're going to get the Kofi spot.
Maybe the redemption of the Kofi spot. Because
Redemption.
remember,
Yeah,
this
that's
past
last
year,
year.
he screwed it up and got
Yeah.
himself eliminated. So he's like, I gotta redeem myself. I gotta outdo it, but keep myself safe.
You know, not try and win it, but
No,
I
not
just
try
gotta
and
keep
win
my
it, but
spot.
I just need
I
to
mean-
fix myself with this.
I mean, knowing Roman, he doesn't want to. Hear me out. Let's just say Roman beats whoever beats at the Rumble. Can you imagine he later just enters the Rumble just for the hell of it?
Like Brock
have
did in
Cody
2020.
Cody go the distance and number 30 be Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cody
'Cause he's-
eliminates Roman
Yeah, and then you got the biggest baby face in the world.
because that's
Yes.
what because Drew eliminated Roman when he won it.
Drew eliminated Brock.
Yeah, and Roman.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
eliminated Roman to win. Nakamura eliminated Roman to win too, I think.
Yeah,
no,
Orton eliminated
Roman?
Roman to win.
It was
yeah, it
Roman.
was Roman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a stretch. 2017, Orton wins by last eliminating Roman. 2018, Nakamura wins by eliminating Roman. 2020, Drew wins by eliminating Roman. But then again,
He's got more second place finishes than anybody because Batista eliminated him to win.
yeah, there was 2014. And Roman was eliminated second to last because Ambrose was eliminated last by Triple H. So, but then again, after the disaster that was 2015, it's like it got painful after a while where it's like the match has to revolve around Roman for that. From 2015 through 2018, it was like the Rumble match revolves around Roman. It's like, come on, it's painful at this point.
But have Cody be the last guy in the ring before number 30 even comes out, and then have it be Roman.
Yep.
For the heat.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be something.
But speaking of Gunther, yeah, it's looking like him and Braun are going to have a little program for the belt.
Well, now and Ricochet has won the World Cup, so
Yeah,
now
he's
we're going to
gonna
get
get a shot
Ricochet
again.
and Gunther in a rematch.
Karrion Kross looks like he's now going to be feuding with Ray
Oh,
after
That's
the
another guy
promo
you-
last night on
That's
SmackDown.
another guy you could put in there with Roman too. Cross.
Yeah, Kross.
Yeah. Cross.
I mean, they did tease him once Kross came back. Like, I'm coming for you eventually. Let's see what else from this week that was setting up anything.
Anything in AEW?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
The
William
Regal
Regal's
MJF
about Regal.
segment. Ooh, that was a great promo, and then good God, the fucking beatdown.
MJF got his custom belt, the
It was
Burberry.
way too long, and the longer MJF goes, he can't carry it that long. He's not John Cena. He's not Paul Heyman.
No.
But now there's these theories coming up now and about that they did that with Regal to write him off because he might go back to WWE, but who's to say he doesn't have one of them multi-year contracts?
That's what Meltzer said, that he signed a multi-year contract, but the person who reported Regal heading to WWE is Mike Johnson, the same guy who reported Cody's going back.
And Mike's got way more credibility than
Mike's
Yeah.
got way more credibility than
Yeah.
Meltzer or Sapp or
Yeah.
any of those
And
guys.
wasn't it? Maybe I'm paraphrasing that one of the clauses in his contract was if Triple H
I think it was
came
an
back to
opt-out. He
power?
had an opt-out
Really?
option.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, it was basically, going to visit his kids at Thanksgiving time to see how they're doing. And,
Yeah.
checking out the neighborhood and see if he wants to stick
Yeah.
around. But nah.
Yeah, he's like, I'll go back to WWE.
We're just gonna get him just too late for War Games, unfortunately.
He also,
Yeah.
everything maybe also what went down at All Out and the way everything was handled was like, it made him think like, yeah, this is a circus.
Yeah, I don't want to be here anymore after that.
Yep. Now, would he go? Let's contemplate. Where is he going to go? Back to NXT as commissioner, or do you think it's past that now?
I think he's going to be Triple H's right hand man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
A lot
Like-
of backstage stuff,
He's
and you
basically
barely
gonna
see
be
him.
He's basically
Yeah.
going to be the Pat Patterson of.
That would be perfect. That
Yeah.
would be perfect. That would be a perfect spot for
Because
him.
they fucked up on Regal over in AEW. They
Oh, yes.
they brought Then again, Regal probably looked at it as a year off, a vacation. He had fun. He got to cut some cool promo segments. He busts Excalibur's balls every week when he comes over to the
and got to put over MJF in a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to do 2 great segments.
He's already one of the most decorated managers in that company's history.
Yep. Which isn't saying much.
He basically went over to Scout. He basically went over to Scout.
It's like, this guy, I want him.
Because
MJF, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, the FTR.
Jade Cargill.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going back, I'm pretty sure he's got some insight to share with Triple H.
Yep.
And you mentioned FTR. Apparently, their contract may be up in February.
Yep. I thought it was April.
Or sometime next year.
Be acclaimed for the TNT title next week. Did you see the flyer?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the flyer is the TNT title. You told me about
the TNT title in the background.
That makes sense.
Oh yeah, and speaking of FTR with what the fuck? It was it Cash Wheeler who had the match with Bryan, and I heard that they put on a fucking clinic.
Dax, as a singles this year has had a great year.
Jungle Boy, Punk, I think this match he just had. There's
him and Cash in the Owen tournament.
Oh, that's right.
You're right. Yeah, great match. But here's one thing I'm learning though. Those guys are very. One thing I think Daniel Bryan went to AEW for is a place where he knows where he could do whatever he wants, and Tony Khan's gonna be like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Daniel Bryan is doing a lot of that British catch-as-catch-can style in his matches. If you notice this, as opposed to how he wrestled in WWE. Let's be honest, the crowd has got their fucking hands underneath they're sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
They're acting respectful. They act like they enjoy the style, but they're bored. Modern wrestling fans are not crazy about 1970s, 1980s Johnny Saint style wrestling. So, but Daniel always wanted to do that style, and that's where the opportunity arose.
And who knows, he might.
I think he's going to go back to. I was saying, and I told Mr. Scott this. I predict 2024 we're going to see a mass exodus in AEW. Anyone who's going to have the opportunity to leave is going to leave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that, we've seen the return of many people to the company, including Tegan Knox showing back up after she was let go for no reason. Who is still out there that Trips needs to get back?
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black. That's one.
Keith Lee, probably.
Keith Lee. Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
He's really back. He's got all the Riot Squad back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
FTR. Paige. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Already bored with her AEW run.
Yeah, it's pointless. It's not doing anything. But was there anyone else that was furloughed, let go in 2020 that has not been brought back yet? In either
Adam.
Yeah.
They left. They left.
Yeah.
Their contracts expired.
Yeah. But I could see them going back.
I don't even know what Adam Cole's health status is like right now. So
apparently he came back too early from a concussion, and now this is a could be a Bret Hart situation, maybe, which sucks.
Adam's back doing Twitch. He's back with the party, doing up, down stuff, up, down, Uno games. Okay, so he's having fun. It's all good. It's hilarious.
Who else?
Well, actually, before we keep going, speaking of health, who the hell knows if Randy Orton's even going to come back now?
Oh yeah.
I heard somebody had put word out that he's recovering. Got to give him time.
His dad said that.
That's right. His dad said that. Also,
I
Bobby
just found
Roode.
That this week, Bobby Roode
just had spinal surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spinal surgery.
That could be the end of his career, given his age.
People are always like, "Oh, they're not letting them do shit. They're holding him back." No, they're not. They're fucking hurt.
Yeah, dumbasses.
I think Dewdrop is out with a concussion too.
Yeah, it's
she's on concussion protocol. She got hurt in that NXT match. Those two little girls knocked her out.
Yeah.
But also, last night on SmackDown, looks like they're going to start repackaging Lacey Evans as a babyface.
Yeah.
They're going to try the Marine thing, I think.
Yeah.
Make her babyface, which makes
bless her.
sense, given...
She's been doing some fucking hot-ass photo shoots lately.
I think they're doing it the Triple H way of doing it, not the Vince way. They're going to do the same thing, but Vince. It's not going to be Vince McMahon.
Yeah. I think Eric Young needs to come back sooner or later.
I heard Eric. I heard Eric Young's on his way
Get
back.
Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf back, and get either Sanity back together, or Alexander Wolf goes back to Imperium. Either or works.
Or just put Eric Young as a producer.
Yeah,
or that too.
That would be more in line what he would do. I mean, didn't they like kill him off an Impact or something like that? You told me.
Yeah.
Cody Deaner stabbed him to death.
Oh God.
And what more does Eric Young have to prove in the ring?
Impact still has stupid stories. Actually, if I were WWE,
they killed Ali off.
We still have to get that women's tag division built up. I would try to get Tay Valkyrie back.
Oh yeah, this is Nitro.
Yeah.
So, Get Tay and Johnny. Grab Jessica Havoc and the other girl, Rosemary. Grab her too.
Rosemary, absolutely.
Yeah, let them put them in the women's division. You have so many different diverse characters in the women's division. If you do that, have them form a stable with Shotzi.
Because let's be honest, SmackDown's women's division needs some help.
They need to unify the women's belts.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think that's coming soon. I think they're just waiting on Charlotte coming back and see what the situation with Sasha is before they make a move.
Yeah.
How about that? A unification match between the four horsewomen. A fatal four-way, or
because we haven't had that.
No.
Or at WrestleMania, do it to WrestleMania 40 one night. We'll have two matches, and then the next night, takes all.
Basically, like Vengeance 2001.
Yeah.
They could.
But
who would you have unify the belts though out of those four?
Becky.
Yeah,
Becky and Charlotte. Becky versus Charlotte.
I was gonna say Sasha just so she could finally have her comeuppance because she always drops the ball in the big match.
Or
so she doesn't quit.
She doesn't quit. That's the other thing though. I'm not waiting with bated breath for Sasha's return because I have a bad feeling it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
He has taken months off at a time to come back and then disappear again.
Yeah.
I fight that hard for the girl.
Oh yeah, and then also
is there truly that much long-term value in her? Is there truly? Especially if she's going to disappear again.
No.
And that's not a question of her as a performer. That's just a question of her reliability.
And personality.
No, it's not reliability. It's the fact that she was going through a lot of depressive issues, which is why she left the first time. So that's a whole mental issue. That's a whole mental health issue that she had to leave for her own safety. Coming back, then there was the altercation with Vince backstage about the tag titles, and that leads her to leave. So that's two instances really, and one was not really her fault. Her leaving, that was completely on her, and I was not.
Bret Hart moment. That was
I was not, supportive of that decision myself personally. But there's not. I don't think the reliability factor. It's not like Punk. It's not like Punk at all.
I mean, I was gonna say, I know I'm maybe crazy or not, but why not Naomi joining the Bloodline? It's the title.
Yeah, because I do wish Naomi would come back.
That makes sense.
I'd rather have her come back than Sasha at this point, personally.
I don't think we've seen the last of Punk. I don't. I have a feeling he's going to show up again somewhere. Probably. I have a feeling he will be in WWE again at least once more.
I don't know.
He's still under contract. He's still under contract at AEW.
From what I heard, he's trying to get out of it, but I think they're going to make him sit home. I really think they are.
Mm-hmm. See, and I'm shocked Punk doesn't try to pull independent contractor on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if only these guys have some foresight.
Well, here's the thing. What if he's not? might have been a full-fledged employee because he had a backstage role.
He did have a job. Yeah, he did have an EVP role. So
he's probably enjoying having that medical insurance. Probably getting some injuries taken care of that weren't taken care of.
See,
Ricky,
the
I
only
think you wanted to say something. What was it?
okay.
I really don't think we're done seeing him.
I thought Ricky had something to say earlier, but it's okay.
See, I only ever want to see Punk do a Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
And
I know what's gonna happen. I bet you if Tony does give him his release, there's gonna be a bunch of stipulations, and one of them is you can go on Steve Austin's show, but you cannot talk about that.
Well, yeah, that's illegal thing.
Sorry, you can't do that.
It'll be like
It'd be a non-disclosure agreement of some kind.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it for so long and blah blah
From
blah.
what I heard, there's an NDA between Cody and there's one between him and Cody. That's what I heard. Because I'm sure we don't know the whole story behind Cody leaving. It's not to go get a belt.
No,
There's a lot more. There's got to be a lot more to it.
Cody might have seen something, the writing on the wall, this is going to.
Probably like what Regal saw. Maybe Regal saw the writing on the wall too. Like I said, I bet you that whole debacle with the press conference really turned Regal's nose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some people out there who think that the whole media scrum was nothing but a work. Which I'm like, no.
I still think it's a work.
No, that ain't a work.
That's like the people that think Montreal's a work.
Yeah.
Because Omega's doing the go to sleep and you ever think really the Bucks and Omega are really just assholes?
They're just children.
Just being whiny bitches.
And Karma.
It's basically Shawn Michaels all over.
Pretty much.
And Karma on them. Their match with Death Triangle, it's the lowest rated shit on the entire show.
Lost the most viewers. So they're not.
They're doing a best of 7.
Their big return at the pay-per-view with Carry On My Wayward Son, which was a cool entrance. I will say that was a very well shot entrance. But nobody cares. Nobody wants to fucking see a best of 7 between the Death Triangle and the Young Bucks, except for Paul. So nobody wants to see a best of 7 match between those teams.
So newsflash: Young Bucks and Omega are never going to be over in the States, no matter how hard you try.
What's that?
You cut out.
You cut out.
Young Bucks and Omega are never what?
I was saying Young Bucks and Omega are never going to be over in the States, no matter what. Their style don't fit here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enough said.
It just doesn't translate.
Plus, Cody is. I think Cody's still friends with the Bucks. I don't know. Sneak him in there, but
we know plenty of people are all friends backstage. Xavier Woods, Omega, big fan, big friends.
Yeah.
All these connections. All those times playing Street Fighter. So it's like a lot of people are friends behind the scenes. And Walt and I know this from the wrestling business. You're best friends for a few times. You see each other in the locker room, and then you hardly ever see each other again. And then if you do see each other, it's like, hey, how's it been? It's like that 10 years you didn't see each other didn't exist.
That's basically me. That's basically me on my work. I've had a few old classmates of mine from school show up, and it was basically the same thing.
The same thing.
Or if a wrestler dies or does something big in the promotion, there's that one guy who did one show with them 25 years ago. Oh, I still got the picture to prove it. Yeah.
And I know who he's talking about.
Oh boy.
Oh, God.
I remember working out with him, and I just knew he was going to be somebody special. Shut the fuck up. Let's stop.
What is the story?
6 of bubble gum. You don't know anything.
What is this story? Now I want to know.
Well, there's a guy we know. Not going to mention names because Tim Zabrisky's not here, so I can't mention the name. Love you, Timmy. But yeah, he would go on and on about Brody Lee. And I've talked about Brody Lee too. I met Brody Lee. I met John like a handful of times. We were never close friends, but we knew each other. That was it. That's all I've ever claimed.
We hit it off really well, but
he was a wonderful dude, and we miss him to this day. But never claimed to be best friends or anything like that. This guy that Walt and I know
carries a picture.
Oh, yeah, he carries a picture around of him and
2002.
John from 2002 when he was just breaking in and is like trying to convince people that he was there to help guide him along the way and help him become the star that he would eventually become. And that's not an isolated incident. That happens all the time.
One picture on social media, I think about a dozen times. And the picture, he's not even standing next to John. There's like, it's him, Colin Delaney, John, and a few other, I think a really, really young Orange Cassidy. But they're all like it's like a quick like group picture. And it looks like John's like trying to leave.
It's a major ego issue, and he's just trying to, he's got a massive inferiority complex. He's just trying to make himself feel good. And that's the problem with wrestlers, folks. Fragile egos.
And when one of his students shows up on AEW, the one he disowned because that student discredited him, it's a big "that's my boy" moment.
Yeah. Yeah, like somebody else we know who doing that stuff. Oh man, yeah, I knew them when they were I knew they were going to be big stars when I first met them, man. And
yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's my good friend.
We know Bobby. I mean, you have Bobby Fish on your contacts. I mean, I'd see you bragging.
I haven't talked to Bobby in about a year or so, and I haven't talked to him in a while too. He's doing his own thing now.
Whatever he does well, we shoot him a quick message. Sometimes he doesn't respond. If he doesn't, he's busy.
That's fine. Yeah, still, we had plenty of time together. We did actual business together. We knew each other. We were from the same high school. So
true.
It's like,
just so many clout chasers in the business, though. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing me and Walter love is when somebody you know that starts up in the business and they get a shot to do TV for WWE. Well, it used to be you got a match, you got a dark match, something like that. I put in the chat here a video of our buddy JP and one of our trainers, Dave, against the Acolytes. And Dave and JP got their asses handed to them, but it was on TV. It was an actual match on WWF programming, okay? And we were damn proud of them and everything they got to do. They had to have that experience, and it's never going to go away. It's always going to be out there. Now, one dude gets a backstage segment as a security guard, and everybody around him, we're so proud of you. You did such a great job. You did wonderful.
So
Are you fucking kidding me? This is where the bar has been lowered. To where I'm not going to get a match, but I was a fucking backstage segment for 2 seconds, and I got punched by Bailey. But now all of a sudden you got the huge opportunity. Oh, we're so proud of you. For what?
Daughter got hung by shit. So that's more than most people can say.
Oh.
I'm scrolling through your videos, and I found the video of JP and Dave. But I had to stop because you got Nigella Lawson on there. I don't know.
Speaking of moronic,
watch last week's show when I showed Levi a picture of Nigella for the first time. That boy had a little accident in his pants, I think.
Oh my god! My favorite Nigella moment is when she does like those quick little videos. There's one where she's coming in from the rain. She's got a jacket and she takes a jacket.
All I'm hearing you say is quick and come.
God.
When it comes to Nigella, all I hear you say is quick and come. That's it.
Yes.
But real quick, I just wanted to get this story out there.
Nigella Lawson and Giada De Laurentiis.
Oh, Giada.
But I was going to say, speaking of like funny stories involving dumb fans.
I wouldn't pass up Sandra Lee either.
No, but she was banging the ex.
She was banging Cuomo. That's kind of gross.
It's kind of nasty. Hey, sorry.
But yeah, speaking of dumb fan stories, as I keep saying, I do car wrestling now, or I had been on and off for now, 10 years, Jesus Christ. I would get into Skype conversations with some of these guys, including my good buddy Chronix from Most Extreme Wrestling, and my buddy Steve, and a couple others, including another friend of mine named Stu, who's actually been working in the indies as a commentator and ring announcer in like Philly.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, we'd be having these Skype conversations, and my buddy Steve, because another guy in the call asked, like, hey Steve, is there anybody in CAW wrestling that when you hear them cut a promo, you just want to punch in the face? And he asked, well, when you say punch in the face, do you mean that they play their characters so well that if it was them for real, you would want to strangle them? Or they're such a shithead in real life that you really want to beat up? And the guy's like, okay, both. And he's answering the first part. He's like, so if there is one guy I would want to punch to the wall for real, would be a British guy named Rudo Stevens, because the story Steve tells to me is that back in 2013 and like early 2014, they got into a Skype conversation together. And my buddy Steve is one of the biggest Bryan Daniel Bryan marks I've ever known. And they would get, and also big Dean Ambrose, John Moxley mark, like me. But they get into this argument. Steve would be talking to Rudo. Rudo goes on to say, Dean Ambrose isn't over. He's not Steve Austin. And Steve's like, well, Steve Austin took time to develop. The Rock took time to develop. And this guy Rudo claims, I'm not making this shit up, he claims that as soon as Steve Austin showed up to the WWF as the ringmaster, everybody knew he was going to be the next Hulk Hogan. It's like bullshit.
Oh, shit.
And then they get into another argument, like Rudo says, no, Daniel Bryan's not over, the yes chant is over. And Steve's like, okay, and then Steve's like, now here's where I'm going to prove to you this guy's a shithead. Because later on in the conversation, they bring up, Daniel Bryan, it's only the yes thing. And then Steve says, Alberto Del Rio. He's like, Del Rio isn't over. And Rudo's like, oh no, Alberto Del Rio is over. And Steve's like, provide me a source. And he gives him a link to the Raw the night after WrestleMania 28. And Steve's like, you fucking idiot! It's the same Raw that Daniel Bryan basically got over. Which you claim he's not. It's like, makes my brain split in half when I hear shit like this. Because it's like, and Steve was like, and his problem with Rudo wasn't his opinion about Dean Ambrose. He was getting facts wrong. Like pulling straw man arguments to try and get a rise out of him, and every time Steve would counteract with facts, Rudo would be like, oh no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was blah, 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 blah. Ugh. And I've had a conversation with this Rudo guy, and he's a fucking tool.
Levi, the chat. That's the scene in question.
Yep.
Oh wow.
She makes me want to make bread so bad.
There is boom.
Wow. Oh, folks out there, if you could see what we see right now.
Oh my gosh.
Delicious.
That was my wallpaper for quite some time.
Really? Sweet.
Yes. Yeah.
There he goes. There he goes.
What were we talking about again?
I don't know. Is this a wrestling podcast?
I don't know.
Oh, this is about food and culture now.
Yes,
can
food,
somebody put Nikita Lyons
if only we had carrot cake.
Oh, carrot cake would sound so good right now.
That's basically what you get,
Yeah. Little Yorkshire pudding right there.
Culinary world. My God.
Tremendous.
Cake.
Yum.
Cake and bread and carbs.
Yep. Tea, milk,
melons.
So much milk in that tea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But after that, I think that's a good moment to wrap up.
It's a good time to sign off, yes.
Holy crap.
It's a good time to jerk off. Sign off.
What you do in the privacy of your own room is your business.
Oh.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go... I'm not going to continue that shtick.
Dude, what the fuck? Anyway, it's the rest of December.
What the...
Next week is top 10 celebrity involvements in wrestling. Then the final week is going to be Steve Austin and WCW.
Yes.
I will not be here for. I am out of town that weekend, so I will not be here for that.
Mm-hmm. So
but now it's plug time. Levi.
Yes.
You always go last. It's time you go first.
Damn it. James is taking over.
We're taking over.
Shall I remind you of something?
You don't control what you think you control. You control what I say you control, damn it.
Okay, Vince.
Brother.
Hey, pal.
I guess I'll go first. So, of course, subscribe to me on YouTube, ThrashManiac99. Kind of a slow week because I was doing Twitch all week, as well as prepping for the top 50 album of the year list. I'll be coming out Christmas week. So I've been busy with that. But I do got one more review planned. My final review I'm doing tomorrow for the new Destroyer 666 album, which I can't wait to check out. I actually might check it out after this finishes. As far as what's coming up, Monday, I decided to do it earlier as a special treat. Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Be here for the live premiere of the Black Sabbath album ranking.
Oof.
Holy shit, it was difficult. And I've been having
Is your bottom one Forbidden and your top one Volume 4?
No.
Oh,
You'll have to wait and see.
You'll find out.
You will find out. But not only was it tough to rank, it's been a pain editing, because I've tried to upload it twice, keep getting content ID'd on the song God is Dead from 13, even though I have the volume turned down so low, I guess I have to keep going low. So I'm hoping this third
Or use
attempt...
a cover or an instrumental or something.
I don't even have it in there. Yeah, put something else in the background. There's plenty of copyright-free music.
But yeah, hopefully this third attempt will be the good one, because I lowered it as low as I could, but still audible enough that you could hear it faintly in the background. Because that's what I always like to do with the rankings, is put some songs from the band in the background. But, well, let's hope. Otherwise, I gotta edit it for a fourth time. But,
then a five time.
But, so that's on the YouTube side. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. Please get me to 1,000 followers before the year's over. I'm literally 64 away. Come on. And then, last but certainly not least, follow and/or subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. And maybe if you hit that subscribe button, you might get a special surprise, if you know what I'm saying.
Nikita's dick.
Look at Scott over there trying to be the Rock. So, Ricky?
You can follow me on my Instagram at Arcaraman Metal Guy, where I upload all my city collections and all that. You can follow me on my second Instagram at RC Collection, where I kind of go more in-depth into my city collections. Being today is the 30th anniversary of Slayer, Show No Mercy. Follow me on my dead Twitter, which I haven't used in a long time, HorrorMaster18, which, knowing Twitter, we don't know what the hell that's going to be around. Follow me on my YouTube at HorrorMaster, which I uploaded my first video back in almost a month in my little city collection, in which, with the new camera, new microphone, big things are coming up, guys. You have no idea. I'm already planning, finally, in doing my Death discography, which I've been putting for the longest time on the shelf, and my Priest discography too, which those two, I'm working on them. And you can catch me on Leba's channel doing both the Shadow Kvlt and the Horseman podcast.
Scott?
All right, find me on my YouTube channel. It's Mr. Scott, doing reaction videos and all kinds of stuff like that. I just put out a video today reacting to a new band putting on an album next year called Twilight Force. If you're a power metal, symphonic metal band, definitely check it out. Their new album comes out in January next year. Yep. At the Heart of Winter Vale is the name of the album. If you're a fan of Hammerfall, Dragon Force, Unleash the Archers, this is a band you want to check out. More reactions coming up throughout the month. I actually have all my videos recorded now for the entire month of December. Just going to be working on editing and posting as we go. And I've also got some stuff to do for Levi for a collab video.
I almost forgot about it.
That he's put together for this holiday season.
The 12 days of metal.
Yes.
Which
so
Ricky will be a part of too.
I won't be doing a video for every single day on there, but I'll be doing for a lot of them. So I'll get that to you. So I'll be working on those as well. Find me on my Twitch account where I go live every week. and I will start doing more streams on Twitch in the new month and into the new year because of the Necrocasticon podcast me and Walter and I do. It's going into being rebooted and format changed happening. More free time in my hands to do some stuff, so I will be on Twitch a lot more. And I had a lot of fun this past Thursday night, and I'll be doing more like that on there too. I go live on YouTube every single week, so stopping in for a nice fun chat. It's always an interesting conversation on the chat there at my YouTube channel. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all under It's Mr. Scott. Different connotations of the name, but I'm out there too. And find me on my TeePublic merch store under It's Mr. Scott, and also be looking for more different stuff from me in the new year as well. Sticking with the reactions, but also got some other things in plan to do in the new year too. And as I stated, I will be here for next Saturday, but I will not be here the week after that because my wife and I will be in New York to celebrate Christmas with my family there. So there you go.
Walter.
I've got, for the first time ever, I've got nothing to plug. As Scott just said, we're going on a hiatus.
All right, then, James.
You can find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I've embarked on a 1 video a day for the entire month of December, the 31 days of We Are Pro Wrestling, where the first 30 days, I'm doing 2022 year-end reviews of different personalities alternating between WWE and AEW. I've already uploaded Cody Rhodes, Jon Moxley, today's Seth Rollins, tomorrow is FTR, Monday is Sammy. So find me on there with all those uploads. There's going to be plenty of them. You can find me on my Twitter at WAPW_wrestling, where I posted a calendar that shows the entire schedule for the month of December. And you can also follow me on my Instagram at WeAreProWrestling_YT.
What a mouthful.
That's
so with that said, we will be back next week, and until then, horns high, and we'll see you all next week.
Russian sickle.